Hello, everyone. What is going on? It is your boy CJ. It's good to see you guys. Hopefully, you guys are getting connected pretty easily. I had this thing just running a little bit before the scheduled time. That way, people can start connecting. Otherwise, obviously, you can always rewind and catch from the beginning all the way to the end. And you can definitely watch this later too. That's the whole idea, is that this can be put up on post and it can stay there for as long as it needs to be. Um, but yeah, hey, so it's good to see you guys. Welcome to the Art of Noise podcast. I'm CJ, your host. I got a very special guest today. Someone I actually just only recently met through a friend, and he's a really cool guy. I talked to him a little bit more about some stuff, and I'll get you introduced to him in just a second. So just a quick news about everything, just making sure that you guys understand this is the Art of Noise podcast. Every perspective is respected, all right? I believe that everyone in this world has has built life upon a perception and perspective. And I think when we're able to listen to everyone's different viewpoints, different lifestyles, different ideas and ways that they see life, I feel like we could learn and take pieces from it and apply them to our lives. That's how I did it, right? So my life is purely enriched by other people. You know, I listen to some people, they tell me some things, they say they like this, they say like that, and that's what I do. I like to just learn from things and try to catch little aspects of everyone's life in order for my life to also be enriched and also empowered, right? So this is definitely a good opportunity to be able to see everyone here. I see some people getting connected, so thank you so much for watching. All right, so let me tell you guys a little bit about who we got here tonight. Okay, so we got my guy named, his name is Ray Woods. He's a mechanical engineer. He's a social media strategist. He's purely into the content creation, things like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. He also does real estate on the side, and definitely something more cool about this opportunity to be able to listen to him. Is to be able to kind of learn exactly what his past was through growing up and how he got to his point and why he's chosen this path. Alongside, this is going to help a lot of other people I know that are looking to move into YouTube and things like that. So stay tuned for that, because we're going to talk about that too. And we're going to talk a lot about other little things like that that's going to be just going to let the conversation flow the way it can flow. So without further ado, let's get connected with Ray Woods. Let me get you in here. Give me 1 second. Ray, you are live. What is going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on, Carlos? How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good, man. It's been a good day. It's been a hot day. I don't know how right where are you living right now?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. It's about 300 degrees out here, so.
Oh, okay. So you're I guess I'm complaining. My complaint doesn't count. I mean, it's only like 80 something here in Chicago, so it's just what it is, you know. So it's definitely really cool to see you. Let me actually do something here really quick. I just realized I didn't set something up here. Just give me 1 second. And there we go. Okay, sorry. I just needed to put some little bit of background music going. So, Ray, introduce yourself. Let people know who you are. Tell them a little bit of what you do just now. Just kind of like a good 2 minutes, and then we'll get into the whole story of your whole history, man. I'm about to dive in. Tell me what's up. Tell them what's up.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, Carlos, first of all, I definitely appreciate you having me on the Art of Noise podcast. Like he gave a great edification. My name is Ray Woods. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. I do social media on the side, content creation, and also real estate on the side as well. And, come from a small town, ended up out here in Atlanta, Georgia, where there's more opportunity, a lot of people to connect with, and a lot of things to make happen out here in Atlanta.
That's cool, man. Cool. So you you moved out from Mississippi, right? Is that what we got? Tell me a little bit from where you were born. Your social security. I'm just kidding. Don't tell me your social security number. None of that. Just tell me what's up from the beginning of your life, bro.
So
there you go.
And Mississippi, I'm from South Mississippi, so it's down. People won't know the term Catahoula. It's kind of when I say that, somebody like Catahoula. What are you talking about? So
The
I usually say the city of Gulfport or Biloxi. Usually, most people know those areas. It's
so
about 3 hours. Huh?
let me tell some people something too. When I heard the first time he said from Catahoula, this is why I didn't want to say it, because I figured that if he's gonna say it right. I'm not gonna butcher it. But the first time I heard it, I thought I heard cattle hula. So I'm like, man, this is some farmland, dude. But anyway, go ahead. So I'm sorry. So yeah, so
Yeah, so
yeah.
I usually tell people Gulfport or Biloxi because people know that area a little better than Catahoula or Picayune, Mississippi. It's about three
Mhm.
hours south of Jackson. I'm probably about 5-10 minutes away from that water. It's extremely brown water, so it's not the clearest water. From a small town, there's not many people in that neighborhood, and I wanted to get out of that neighborhood. So the route that I took to get out of that was to go to school. And whenever
Mhm.
I went to Hancock High School, which was an all white school, and it was a 5A school, it was probably like 10 black people there, including the teachers. And so, we once I left that high school, I went to Pearl River Community College. I transferred from community college, and then I went up to Ole Miss, where I pursued mechanical engineering. And I ended up moving from Mississippi to Alabama, and then I moved to Georgia, and that's why I was trying to get more towards the East Coast. So for now, it was in Georgia. Potentially, we may or may not go to Florida, but for now, we in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's pretty nice out here.
Okay, that's cool, man. So hold on. Let's backtrack a little bit here. You said that you were in an all white school, you know, and was it anything different there like throughout that time too, or no? Like were you just like it was just you were just accepted? Was it easy for you?
I wouldn't say it was so much easy. I was bullied a lot through those years. The people that may or may not be watching on my Facebook that went to school with me, they know that I was bullied, and there was a lot of racism there. It was always probably from middle school to high school, it was a lot of bullying. I started getting into MMA around my junior year and senior year, which
Whoa.
actually changed my whole mindset and perspective, and was giving me the ability to protect myself when I need it, not actually to hurt somebody intentionally, but to protect myself when needed. So there was a lot of racism there. I've been in the office so many times I can't even count. I started my senior year in alternative school. I've been unfortunately taken to jail on some false occasions, and it was pretty crazy there.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of friends there, and it wasn't. I can't really say that I'm glad I didn't. I can't go back and be like, man, I wish I could take that all back. But it was definitely a learning experience. It was a learning experience, and it kind of opened me up to this world of racism and discrimination, which kind of altered my mind a little bit, but also gave me kind of like the motivation to get out of that scenario and get into a scenario where everybody's accepted based off who they are and not just because of the color of their skin.
Yeah, that's interesting. And one of the, you know, I'm gonna get back on that just a little bit, but tell me about the mindset of the MMA. I feel like, like you said, that MMA helped you kind of obviously change mindset on a couple things. Also, obviously, defend yourself because you wanted to. But
Hmm.
tell me about what MMA really like. How did that prepare your mind? What did they go through with that? I mean, because I take a little bit of boxing classes, dude, and I get tired just by lifting up my arms, dude. It's crazy, you know. So tell me a little bit about like just that mentality. How did that shift from like being bullied to like a different confidence level, or what's up?
Mhm. So martial arts, there's many different martial arts. I trained jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu first, and then I kind of geared into Muay Thai, boxing, and a little bit of Taekwondo. So what martial arts did for me as far as my mindset, it kind of put me in a calmer place because when you start to learn different techniques, you know that you can really hurt somebody. And it's not to say that to brag, but it's true story. There are individuals that are well equipped in these different martial arts that can really kill somebody with their hands. But
Right.
what it teaches you is that self-control, and it teaches you that self-discipline as a person to step away from situations or not even bring yourself to a potential situation. So that helped me throughout the years of staying away from trouble. Now, that doesn't
Mm.
eliminate the fact that I don't see the trouble or I don't see the issues or that I'm not aware of the issues, but it keeps me and whatever's around me protected because I can only control what's around me. And the martial arts will definitely control your ego because When I say there's so many different levels and different tiers of individuals that can fight, down to the reaction time, down to the reflex, down to the strength, down to the whole physical body of somebody. It's just crazy, you know. And I've had two fights. I've had my first fight that I took last notice that I lost by decision, and then my second fight I won by knockout. And it was probably in the Biloxi Coliseum, maybe somewhere between 700 or 800 people that was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I never forget hearing my mom over everybody in the crowd. But
You
you
can
know,
hear, like, you can
when I,
distinguish the voice.
exactly, and the experience of being in there is whenever you're in martial arts, you're training together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's time to go take on the real world or actually go into that ring and they shut the doors and they say, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And then it's fight. Now it's just you and that enemy. And so now you got to put everything aside. You gotta implement logic. You got to implement emotion. You got to keep that balance, and you got to keep that self control. Because if you lose that self control, then you get hurt. And that's the same
Mm-hmm.
thing in life. If you lose that self control, you end up in jail, or you end up dead, or whatever the case may be. So that's what martial arts did for me as a person. You know, it started to, because I grew up angry. I grew up angry because I was around a lot of racism. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand, why people acted this way, why I was bullied. And so when I started to have that more self control and more self discipline, things started calming down for me.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, and you're saying something really important. I think, it's true. Self control is definitely something that, and it's not necessarily to be like, oh, someone hold me back, or, I gotta suppress my feelings or anything like that. But I mean, you tell me, is it more of like just really taking in that breath in and sort of thing, like count to 10, like they do in like high school or whatever, or elementary, like just count to 10 and then do whatever or whatever like that,
You
or
know, you know how I used to analyze situations was if I got into a confrontation with somebody, if it was like a verbal confrontation, I kind of analyze the person's body. I look at them and see the majority of people that get into fights
mm-hmm.
that do not know how to fight, that are not trained to fight, look for the one hit KO. They look to throw these power haymakers. They look to throw these huge hits. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they want to. And when I see that, now that may not be the case for everybody because you never know. But at the same time, you see that and it's like, I know exactly what this person is going to do, or I know
Mm-hmm.
exactly how I can handle this person. And being in jiu-jitsu, not many people know how to fight on the ground. So scooping somebody up in the air and slamming them to the ground and putting them in a chokehold or armbar that they can't get out of, you already know you got the advantage. So if you already know that you got the advantage and you know that you can dominate this person, if you did it, what would that do for you?
Mm.
So if it doesn't
Yeah.
do it for you, especially, eliminate the ego because the ego is eliminated during training because you're training against your coach, you're training against professional fighters. And if it doesn't do nothing for you, then leave it alone. Leave it alone and walk away to live another day. Because you never know, because you'll end up hurting this person for real, and then they come back with a gun or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My coach for boxing, he said this thing. He's like, look, he's like, whenever you get, now the thing is that I got into like boxing just because I wanted to like exercise or whatever, right? But my
Mm-hmm.
coach kept insisting, like, if you get in a fight, I'm like, bro, I'm not trying to get into a fight. I don't want to fight. But he said, it's like the thing is that sometimes if there's ever scenarios like that, you know, one of the
Yeah,
things you could do is basically hit the 1, 2, 3 and run. You don't need to
yeah,
stay there. You don't need to continue fighting. You just got to do that so that it knocks the guy off balance and get out of there because you don't need to, you don't need to win. You just need to get out of the situation,
yeah, exactly,
you
exactly.
know? So what you're telling me too is like, I mean, it's not the same thing, but I guess it would be more of like, you're saying is like, what would that really do for you? Analyze yourself, take the ego out, analyze really, is this
Mm.
something that's just gonna fill up your ego? Because if it is, get out of there. You don't need it. Just walk away. You know, that's all you gotta do. But analyze. Now, sometimes people don't analyze. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they just
So
act. They
yeah,
just act off emotion. And that's where the emotion comes. Too much emotion at that point. And that's where you get hurt.
yeah, yeah. I got Gabby over here saying if you lose that self control, you get hurt. That's what you said.
Exactly.
She's kind of reiterating what you said. That's cool, man. I appreciate that little bit of the story. I definitely didn't talk to you about that at all, but it was good to kind of know a little bit of that. So that was
Oh
very
yeah.
natural. And I wanted to, like, I guess we go back. So now, you changed your mentality. You got into college, right? What you do in college?
So college was a little difficult for me. I'm a person, I enjoy math. I was always good at math. I was always advanced in math from like third grade. And I wasn't really well off with comprehension. So I never really was a reader. I never could understand. I would be in a math class and I would dominate. You remember them sheets where it's like 100 questions, 100 math
Yeah,
questions?
yeah,
And you
yeah. I know this one.
gotta do as many, yeah. So I would finish that within like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, completely dominate that math test, that
Hmm.
little math speed test. But when it came to putting word problems in front of me, I couldn't really comprehend well. And I
Okay.
struggled with that through Ole Miss. And the other thing that kind of struggled with me, so my mom was diagnosed with diabetes, maybe about 2011 or 12ish, somewhere around there. And what ended up happening was, she unfortunately got fired, and it was a tragic situation because now there's no money coming into the house,
Right.
and there's nobody to support the household, and I'm going off to college. So my last 2 to 3 years of school, I was working about 2 to 3 jobs. So I was working in security, and then I was working IT, where I actually met Perry, the person that you know. And then I was working on campus with my professor, and I was doing engineering classes.
Hmm.
So I survived off of 3 to 4 hours of sleep every day, or less, if I even got that. And so, the college days were definitely some fun times and some learning experiences, but I can't say that it was the best time that I've had just yet, because it was really about digging down and pushing to make more out of my life because of the past situations.
Hmm.
And those past situations are what made the person I am today. So, you know, college definitely helped out me as a person and changed my mind to even propelling even further to where I'm at now.
Okay. And now tell me a little bit of now when you said that your mom got fired and you had to take your jobs, a couple jobs. Now I know that for some people, you know, I mean their parents are their life, or sometimes they're like, oh, maybe not even their parents, maybe it's a life change that they had to do, and you were striving for something. So how did you get through, like, to continue pushing towards the dream you wanted while still providing, you know, for your mom and your life? You know what I mean? It's not just your mom. You got to provide for yourself and things like that. So how did you really put that all together so that you didn't give up? Because a lot of people stop. You know what I mean? When they're like, "That's it. I can't go for my dream." Some people get kids and they're like, "That's it, man. I can't go for it." But I feel like you can. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
feel like there's
exactly.
still a way. But tell me a little bit about that. See if you know.
So, it's funny because it's such a hard, it's hard to compare money and some passion that you have, because a lot of people say, well, money's not everything. Money doesn't
Mhm.
buy you happiness. Money doesn't do this. Money doesn't do that. But in my opinion, the thing that actually drove me was actually the money. And it
Mhm.
wasn't necessarily just the money by itself, but it was what the money could do for me as a person and what it could do for my household. My sole focus was to help my mom and make sure that the bills were paid, make sure that food was on the table, make sure that she wasn't so uh, tied down with trying to figure out how things are going to be paid for. And I think that's
Mhm.
a lot of issues with some households, is that the finances are not in order in the household. And in my household, we really didn't talk about finances like that. We didn't talk about personal finance. We didn't talk about investing. We didn't talk about credit. We didn't talk about none of that. And over 70 some percent of the people, in this country, living paycheck to paycheck. So statistics say, I think it's like people barely got $400 or $500 in their savings account. So if something happens, they don't even have the money to pay for that. And it's sad. And I wanted to get out of that. I wanted to get out of that.
Mhm.
And the idea of what money could do was the motivator for me. It wasn't money that was motivating me. It was what I can do with the money. And whenever I was working all these different jobs, I was trying to stack up money. I even when I graduated, I made a lot more money, and even then, it was hard to keep track of finances.
Mm,
I was still able to support my parents, my mom, but it was still hard to try to keep up with finances because I didn't know anything about money. So as I dug deeper into money, the history of money, the idea of money, the idea of finances, the idea of this whole entire capitalistic society kind of took my interest when I first read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
okay.
And I continue to read books to educate myself on money and personal finance. And even that's why I have my YouTube channel, Crab Out the Bucket. I use that
Hmm.
to teach people about personal finance and mindset from my past mistakes because a lot of people don't know these things. A lot of people don't know these things. And I feel like a lot of reasons households fail or there's relationship issues is because of the finances. So when you have money, your house is more in order than if you're broke. If you have money, you don't have to look at your bank account to worry, man, can I go eat out one night or can I afford to buy this? You can just go swipe for it as long as you're swiping responsibly and you're
Right.
not just going broke swiping over and over again. But you don't have that tension. And I like to take 50 cents start get rich or die trying. And
Yeah.
rich is relative to everybody. Rich can be, a couple $1,000s saved in your account. Rich could be seven figures, eight figures, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But when you have that money, I believe that you are better off being rich in your own terms and stressed out, and that's better than being broke and stressed out.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I
idea
hear you.
the idea of money and what it can do for me and my household and my family. I mean, I know individuals in my circle that send their kids to private school. Those kids in private school learn about economics, like deeper into economics, the
Hmm.
risk management, credit management. They learn about personal finance and all these different things that can really change a generation around in tons of communities that don't have that type of background. So that's why money was such a motivator for me and how I pushed through and how I continue to push through and even grow now. I mean, just recently, a few years ago, my credit score was maybe like low 500s. I had my car repossessed. I've had people send me to collections. I've had all type of stuff happen,
Hmm.
and I'm right around the corner from the 700 club as of
Hey, that's good,
so.
man. That's
So it's like,
good.
and then I've been fortunate enough to help other people raise their
Yeah.
credit score, and
Yeah.
so I want to give back that education because people are stuck in that mindset of not knowing. They're
Hmm.
stuck in that crab mentality that everybody around them wants to keep them down, and they know something can push them and pull them forward. They just don't want to go after it. And I ignored that from my neighborhood. I ignored that from some family members, and that's what kept me driving and kept me pushing.
Yeah, man. I can tell you right now. I mean, sometimes there are families that are like, this guy's just working for money. This guy's just chasing fame, and I understand that. You know what I mean? Because you were not doing it for the love of money. You were doing it for the love of money could do for you. You know,
Exactly.
and I think we all get in this misconception, and I I've been like that too before. You know what I mean? Where I
Hmm.
just look at people and be like, man, they got lucky. You know, it's like it's never got to do with luck, man. It's just about really understanding the administration of your finances, really getting like some sort of idea. And and I think for anyone who's watching, you don't have to be a genius to do this. You don't have to even like go to school for it or anything like that. You can really start to look at like mentors. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People that
exactly.
can guide you, books. You know what I mean? Did you read a book that helped you out for this, or what?
Yeah, so it's funny, real quick story. When I was my first job out of college, I wanted to actually go back to school for my master's in sports engineering. I
Mm-hmm.
was, I was still fresh in training MMA. I was working out like crazy. I wanted to be within in the sports industry, but still have that engineering background to kind of help me out.
Yeah.
And I bumped into a lady in the scrap dock at the manufacturing facility. And
Okay.
what she did, she literally just took scrap metal, she filled out a ticket, and then, a truck came and got the scrap metal, and that was it. And lo and behold, she knew a guy named Moses that's ironic, right? A guy named Moses
Mm-hmm.
that was in Denver, Colorado, and they had a sports engineering program.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was when I actually got in contact with the guy, he talked to me, and we went home. I'll never forget this. Me and my wife went home for Thanksgiving, I believe, and the food was done. Food's getting cold. I'm outside talking on the phone. It's like 8 o'clock at night. I was on
Yeah.
the phone for 4 hours with this guy. I've never met him. I've
Uh-huh.
never seen him in person, but he was telling me, "Hey, you need to stop worrying about a job." Now, disclaimer, a job is not for everybody. A
Yeah.
job is for some people.
Yeah.
So you pick what you want, either have your own business or a job. But he told me you need to look at not being becoming an entrepreneur. You need to learn about digital advertising. You need to look up this guy Robert L. Smith. You need to look up Lonnie Johnson. You need to look up all these millionaires and billionaires, the individual.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to study them. And he said, don't call me back until you study these guys. And I'm taking notes. Never met this guy. Never met this guy. And it led me to Rich Dad Poor Dad. It led me to
Okay.
Rich Dad Poor Dad. And when I read that book, like my mind just blew up.
Which is, by the way, guys, Rich Dad Poor Dad's by Robert Kiyosaki. If you guys know, one of the multi-billionaires, I think.
Yeah, he has a lot of property. I think he owns
Yeah.
like maybe 10,000 something real estate units or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
when I read that book, it gave me the insight of entrepreneurship. It gave me the insight of personal finance,
Yeah.
about credit, about leveraging other people's money, about becoming your own bank, about the different mindsets of individuals in
Mm-hmm.
as an employee, as a big business owner, as an investor, as a small business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read that, I said, "Man, I feel like I just took the red pill."
You're talking about the quadrant, right?
Yeah, the
The
quadrant, the four
quadrant.
quadrants. And when
Yeah.
I read that book, I was like, "Man, I feel like I took the red pill because I've been living swallowing blue pills left and right."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
took the red pill, and I'm like, "Damn! So how deep can this rabbit hole go?" And then I started reading books about gold and silver. I started finding individual personal finance books. I started reading books about the history of money, where money came from, back to the barter system. They even have a Federal Reserve Bank that I didn't know some years ago here in Atlanta, and they
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of history there, down from real estate to where money come from, where it's printed at, where it's distributed and packed in, and it's crazy. It threw me for a loop.
Man, that's all the stuff that you're touching on. There's so much information. I wish we had all the time to really dissect all of that. You know what I mean? So you guys got to plug in with him later on and crab out the bucket, which we're gonna talk about. Crab out the bucket in a little bit, kind of, because I feel like it's on the same. Um, it's from there, right? The story is kind of from the Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
And I got someone saying here, like, so true. Money is not discussed at home and school, and school doesn't cover it either, and it leaves so many people lost. Educating yourself on this is so crucial. I agree. You know,
and if it
finding
wasn't crucial, then as how in the world do we have 1.4, 1.5 trillion dollar student debt?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff that happens around, and you really have to ask yourself. It's like, do you want to be part of that debt status, or you want to be part of the other one, the couple percenters who are, striving
Exactly.
out of that. You know what I mean? Man, this is some good stuff. I wanna I wanna touch in a little bit on your mechanical engineering too before we get into all the rest of the stuff. I know. I just did you that job? Tell me a little bit about it. Do you like it? What's up with that?
So I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I don't like engineering. I, I do not like engineering, man. Engineering, from my experience and from
Yeah.
what I've done, is boring. It's
Yeah.
boring. I feel like I got ADHD sometimes, and sitting at a desk, man. The hardest thing about being in this engineering career, having a desk job, is that you have something that you want to chase as a side hustle or a passion, and you
Yeah.
have to fight being lazy when you come home. Because if you're sitting at a desk all day in this cold air conditioner, and you're so tired and you got to drink all these cups of coffee. I don't drink that much coffee, but other people
Okay.
drink like freaking gallons of coffee. You got to
Mm-hmm.
come home and you got to eliminate and change that. But engineering, man, for me, it's not fun. It's not. It
Okay.
pays the bills. The good thing
Yeah.
is it pays the bills.
So your biggest so right now then, obviously you don't like it's not your favorite job. What is something that you actually like to do?
So, I like to educate. I like to
Okay.
educate. I like to teach, and it's not so much. I'm not so much of those people that, oh look, I just found some new information.
Hmm.
Let me go throw up on somebody with it. It's
Yeah.
more like before I even got into these books, I lived through it. I lived through it, and I see so many people even today with a lot of the older millennials that are older than me and the Generation Z that are still clueless. And my purpose, I feel like my purpose or my goal is to try to intervene and help them escape that matrix before it holds them in too long.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if they, well, right now, a lot of people are ignorant to situations. They just
Yeah.
don't know. They don't know. And
Right.
so my hope is to, even if you see a little snippet of this podcast or a snippet of my videos, it'll get you thinking. You don't have to
Hmm.
agree with it, but it'll get you thinking. And now the fact that you're aware of something opens up a whole mess of doors for you to start going through and start researching on your own.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the whole idea with what I'm trying to do as well. It's like just popping people who can give out a little bit of the snippets of their life, and that if they get it and if they get start thinking, it's the same idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you and
exactly.
I right now are working together to get some people to be aware of something. Aware of the finances, aware of where they're at in their lives, and also aware that they can get out. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like to
Exactly.
find their way out of this. It's not impossible, right?
Hmm.
Um, Man, I appreciate that. Let's talk about the crab mentality. All right. So crab out the bucket. All right. Speak to me, man. I'm pretty sure when people saw that like get out the bucket, it's like, man, what is this guy? What was this guy? In a slammer or what
Yeah,
happened?
you know what's funny? I actually showed somebody that logo, and they said, "Oh, I like seafood." And I was like,
Is this guy a chef?
I said, no, no, it's not about seafood. Just check out. I passed on my little business card. But
Oh man.
I'm sure some of you've heard the crab mentality. If you ever been fishing or had a bucket of crabs, it's a ton of crabs, and one tries to get up out the bucket, and by the time he gets to the edge of that rim, all these other crabs are grabbing this crab and pulling them back in. And from the neighborhood and the people that I've come from, some of those individuals were like that. And they didn't necessarily physically do that to you,
Yeah.
but their mindset kind of impeded on your mindset and it pulled you back. And you can say that you let that happen, or oneself would let that happen because of the people around you. And it's
Yeah.
not just from my neighborhood, it's from many people have the situations where, they are stuck in this mindset or they're stuck in this predicament because individuals around them, the circle around them, keep them there and everybody's complacent.
Hmm.
So when you look at that logo, that crab that actually is already out of the bucket and the other crab is trying to reach for him and get him,
Yeah.
I'm already out. That's me. That's the crab that's already
Let
out.
me let me get that up here. Hold up. Let me so that way people can see what we're talking about because that this is important. Hold up. There we go. That's the logo we're talking about, guys. The little crab is being he's trying to get out and he's being pulled back in. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I want to give a huge shout out to my friend from school, Matthew Williams. He's on my Facebook if you want to connect with him. He actually drew this for me, and then we put it into computer format, and this is the logo that I use, and it's an awesome drawing, man. He's very talented. But yeah, that red crab right there, that's me. People try to
Mm-hmm.
get me, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm gone, homie. Can't
No,
do
I
me. I'm
gotta get out of
already
here.
gone. Yeah,
Uh huh.
exactly. And so that's the point of that crab out the bucket mentality
Yeah.
is be that person that if you feel like that something is not right, if you feel like you don't belong, follow your intuition. Don't listen to everybody else. I mean, I've had to change my friends so many times, and I mean, everybody in my circle is a millionaire. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few people that are in my circle that we have the same frequency whenever we're talking, that have, I would say, a millionaire frequency, but we're not there yet, but we're taking action to get there. And everybody else will be physically there. And I learn and grow from them and they push me. They push me to be better. And I couldn't, you can't pay that back to somebody. The only way you can pay that back is by giving back to others, which is what I do with this logo, with this crab out the bucket.
That's awesome. I don't know where the saying came from, but it's going in my head, and it's I know that The Rock said it, like be the hardest worker in the room, but I
Hmm.
feel like I don't know if he added it, or I think I added something else where I'm like be the hardest worker in the room, but not the smartest,
Hmm.
as in understanding that you can work hard, but if you can learn more, even better.
Hmm.
You
Even
know?
better.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's what
think
you
about it.
said.
If you
Yeah.
got if you're the smartest person in the room, I think it's time to get out of that room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I
you
hear
got to
you,
grow.
because
You have to grow.
there is that risk of complacency, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mm. We'll touch up on that for sure. All right, so we got crab out the bucket. We understood a little bit more about what that is. Now, I know that for a lot of people, I mean, they got their own little crabs pulling them back in. You know, they got dreams
Hmm.
that they want to do. They got things that they want to work on. I mean, right now, with the whole pandemic, people have come up with new ways to make money, or they have seen new things. And some people are like, "Yeah, let's do it." Other people are like, "No, don't get into that." How do you decipher, or how do you work with like not being rude to the person that's like, he may not be trying to pull you back in, maybe he does support you, but how do you like differentiate that? You know what I mean? People who support you versus people who are just skeptical of what you're doing, you know?
Hmm.
Because I feel like everyone means well. In my
Yeah.
perspective, I feel like
Yeah.
everyone means well. You know what I mean? They mean well when they say no, you shouldn't do that, because they're not saying you shouldn't do that because you can't or because that's bad. They just don't know that either, you know,
Exactly.
and it doesn't sound like it's safe for you, and they care about you. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how do you differentiate all that?
So I look at two different feelings inside the human. You have people that are emotional, and then you have people who are logical. And you have to have this balance between logic and emotion. People who are too emotional, going back to the MMA, if you're too emotional and you lose it, you get hurt. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're too logical, now you're overthinking, you're overanalyzing, and you don't take any action on anything.
Yeah.
So the individuals that come to you and say, "Man, you shouldn't do that. You should watch out for that. That's going to hurt you." Blah blah blah. That's somebody that's speaking from emotion. Somebody speaking from emotion because they either went through that or they seen somebody that they know go through that. But
Yeah, they're it's like those people who are like, oh no, my cousin's sister's husband's brother went through that, and I do not suggest you do that. You know what I
exactly,
mean?
but you know what's even funnier? They only say it from the people, those people they probably never met, and then the people that say that never even tried it themselves.
Exactly,
They never
exactly.
tried
Yeah,
it themselves. It's just skeptical.
yeah.
So when people talk like that, they talk based off on emotion, and it's because those people, when they talk on emotion, they talk really down about themselves because they either gave up or they didn't make it, and the reason they
Mm.
didn't make it is because they gave up. So you as an individual and all the listeners, it's don't listen to the people that's telling you something from pure emotion because they're going to try to pull you back in so you can be complacent with them. Misery loves company. And right now they have no company, so they need you to come back with them. And you don't need to do
Mm.
that. Let them go find somebody else to do that with. The individuals that think logically about something are usually the people, like I said, who overthought something and then they haven't taken any action on it. So when you ask these individuals, I was in network marketing, for example.
Yeah.
And when I had individuals trying to say, well, the way that this is and that is a pyramid and this works like that. And I said, have you ever done one of these before? You know, you're breaking down the math to me, but do you know how it actually works? You're giving me kind of outside approach to it, but I'm actually on the inside. So
Mm-hmm.
right now, your logic is not making sense to me. So I'm just going to stick with my intuition and continue to build this. And that can be whether it could be network marketing or your own business or a cookie shop or a coffee shop, whatever it may be. Those individuals have overthought something to the point that they're creating anxiety for themselves when it's not necessary.
When they're looking at things from the outside and not really diving into the inside.
Exactly.
There right now. There's a Broadway show. I don't know if you've ever seen it or heard of it. It's called Hamilton.
Hmm.
It's one of my favorite like Broadways I've ever had, like I've ever seen. And right now it's on Disney Plus, and I'm about to like go over there and watch it in a little bit. Um, but here's the thing. He says something to one of the guys, Aaron Burr, right? And Aaron Burr is this guy who is on the outside. It's kind of what we're talking about. He's on the outside, not looking in. He's just like waiting for his opportunity and waiting for the time when it's safe to do what he can do. Opportunist, right?
Yeah.
Versus the guy who's got skin in the game, who does everything. He's over it. Like, I'm not thinking. I gotta go. I gotta make this happen. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And you know, we all have both sides. I think, you know, we have the side of caution in our hearts, and we also have the side of passion in ours, where we really want to do something. But one of the things that he said was like, man, you know, if you don't have skin in the game, you can't. No, what was it? You can't win. Oh my gosh, I'm butchering this. I'm gonna get this. One of my viewers is gonna get so mad at me for not getting this right. If you don't got skin in the game, you can't stay in the game. Oh my god. No, I got this. I got it. Skin. I'm gonna have to look this up because Hamilton. Hold on, I gotta get you. It's called "Room Where It Happens." That's where the song is from. All right. Yeah, I already hear her laughing right now. Oh my god. I got it. It's here. Y'all, I gotta get this again. Skin in the Game, Hamilton. That's where the lyrics are at. And then I'm gonna get it. I'll find it, bro. It's so good. Have you ever seen that show though? Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen that show. I need to go check it out now. See something. You said
No,
Hamilton?
It's on. Yeah, it's called Hamilton, and it's on Disney Plus right now. You can't stream it for free. They took off the free option. You still gotta stream it. So just stream it for like a month, and then watch it or something. But I know it's tonight that they opened it up, and man, it's pretty good. Okay, I got it. Found it.
Let me hear it.
So he's like, they're saying, man, you got more. So he's like, and I wanted what I got. He said, when you got skin in the game, you stay in the game. But you don't get a win unless you play in the game. Or you got love for it, or you got hate for it. You got nothing if you wait for it. Wait for it. Look at that. It's sick, dude. That line is amazing because it's true.
Yeah,
you know
exactly. It is true.
It's like you're gonna be there waiting the whole time, or you're gonna play. You know what I mean? If you're just gonna bag on it because you're like, oh, you're not sure of what you're doing. You know, those are the crabs pulling you back in. Be like, look, I gotta go play the game. If you want to stay in here in this bucket, that's fine. But I gotta be out the bucket.
I gotta go.
You know?
You gotta go, man. You gotta
go.
be on the field. If you're not in, there's no way. The best teacher is experience.
Yeah.
There's no way to learn better than actually going on the field and doing it.
Yep. I got over here. I got some people saying, hold on. It says, I'm so proud of you guys. It's so important for people to read, not just Google stuff up. There is a depth of understanding that can only come from immersing yourself in a book. Yes. And then I got Debbie Woods, which is apparently your mom.
Hey, mother.
So say hi to mom.
Hey,
so
mom.
she says, I'm so very proud of what he is doing with his life. Thank you for allowing me on our podcast. Well, thank you, Debbie, for creating such a wonderful child. You've definitely raised a wonderful man in your hands, and for the world for sure. And we're getting some good information. So thanks, Debbie. I don't know if you want to say hi to your mom.
Yeah. Thank you, mother, for tuning in to the podcast. If you can hear me.
She could hear you. Oh man. All right. So let's get back. Let's get back to a couple things here. So we know that the crowds that pull you in are typically friends, typically the people closest to you, because like I said, they mean well, right? But it's like you said, they're acting upon emotion and things like that. But now, like, again, I want to go back to how do you break away without hurting your relationships with them? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Have you done that? Have you fallen into that? Because I know you break some people. You know what I mean?
So it's that's one thing that I can't say that I've 100% mastered, because you can't control everybody else's emotion. So
there it is.
So from them, they may mean well, but you breaking the ties with certain situations, you mean well as well. It's just how they take it. You can't control how they take it. It's not like you call them and you just be like, I don't want to talk to you no more. You're stupid. You don't do nothing like that. You're just on different frequencies and you don't resonate anymore. So you either outgrown that person or you can't really conversate with them about anything anymore like that. And so I've had situations where I've had to get rid of friends, um, to the point where they're more associates now. Like we'll say, hey,
Like
we'll
acquaintances, you mean?
yeah, acquaintances. They'll
Mm.
say, hey, they'll say, how you doing, this and that. But we can't get on a deeper conversation than that. And it's no hard feelings from some people, but the ones that have hard feelings, I don't care. Honestly, I
Mm-hmm.
don't care if they
Mm-hmm.
have hard feelings. I learned. I took one thing from a high school teacher,
Mm-hmm.
actually middle school teacher, that she said we was in the classroom and she said, "Okay, kids, are we? Anybody got any questions for what I just taught?" And everybody's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "So you telling me none of y'all have any questions? This is a lot of information. I want you to look at everybody in the room right now and look at all these different people. These people are not going to be paying your bills 10 years from now. So you better be asking
Mm.
questions."
Mm.
And so I heard that as a kid and I was like, I remember that now. I'm 30 now. That was probably when I was maybe 13 or 12
Still
or something.
applicable, dude.
It's
Majorly
still
applicable. Yeah.
because the people that's in your life that's holding you back, they're preventing you from paying your bills. And they not going to pay them for you. They not paying you these unemployment checks or nothing. They not going to give you no stimulus to pay for your bills. Nah, they're going to handle their own.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they don't like what you do, leave them.
Yep, yep. I see that. I hear that so loud, dude, man. That is something everyone's got to take for sure, man. It's remembering that the people around you are not, if you're striving for something, people around you aren't going to pay for your bills. That's so applicable. They're not going to pay for your dreams. They're not going to pay you to go to, I mean, if you want to go to freaking Maldives, they're not going to pay you they're not going to pay that for you. You know what I mean? You got to earn that yourself, and and it's true. You can't control the people's emotions. That's very true. You can't. You got to let them know. Look, we're acquaintances now, or you don't even have to tell them that. I feel like that's still like such a downgrade. But I don't know. For me, it's like it's hard as a social person. It's so hard for me to tell people like, look, I gotta let you gotta let you go. In my you're fired from my friendship, I guess. but,
Fine.
but
Yeah,
you're
hey,
fired.
don't
Yeah.
want to do it. It's just you start to realize that you guys can't hold a conversation with them, and so
Mm-hmm.
the frequency changes, the whole energy changes between you guys, and the best thing that happens sometimes is that the people that you don't have a huge connection with anymore, whether you discuss or whatever, what ends up happening is if you're that person that got out of that bucket and you continue to push forward with what you're doing, they're going to watch you. They're going to continue to watch you because deep inside of some people, they want to go after what they want to go after, but they just don't know how. And it's because they're fearful. It's because of fear.
Yeah.
And so what happens is some individuals have actually reconnected with me that we say hey and that was it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's because they come back and they're like, man, I really enjoy what you're doing with your channel. I really enjoy what you're doing with your social media. How can I do? They start asking questions. And I'm like, man, this is a different person now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so happy and excited for them, not because we connecting and we're talking again, but because they got out of that bucket. They
Yep.
got out of the bucket. They was the crab to get out of that mentality to go after what they want to. Life's too short.
Yeah, yeah, and you said something really important. It's that fear, and it's the only driving, or I guess it's a driving force, or it's a force that stops you. You know what I mean? Some people run with fear, that fear of flight, or the or fear with fight. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And I hear that when I see that people want to do something, they see that there other people are succeeding. And you know what though, we gotta be straight here though. Some people on social media, they pretend that they're having it all together. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
oh definitely.
Yeah, and I think
On Instagram, you gonna see it everywhere.
exactly. Their food looks so perfect, but you know that the first bite they might have had the worst bite ever in their life. I don't know.
Wait, this don't taste good.
Exactly.
Bring
But
it back.
okay, at least it looks good.
Yeah,
But that's
exactly.
the thing. And I think that's where we fall behind in our social life, is that we're starting to fall into this like superficiality of things, and like not really living the real life, like really living with yourself. Like it's okay to wear your garbage, it's okay to do that, but you got to keep going, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
fear of being pounded on and being like, no, you can't live that way. You got to live the way society tells you to live that way, and all these other ways and things like that. Also, another type of bucket that we're dragged into. You know.
Exactly, exactly.
But you said fear, and I know you told me earlier, and I got a link because you sent me that the fear, the 5 steps to overcome fear. Just
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in there right now. Minute 52:30, just so everyone who's watching, he did talk about this. He's got a video called 5 Steps to Overcome Fear. I mean, go ahead and look it up. Now, tell me just a little bit, just super summary on that, so that you don't spoil your video.
Yeah, so there's 5 steps to eliminate fear, and I use the engineering approach, and
Okay.
it's called DMAC, and DMAC is DMAIC, and it's define, measure, analyze, implement, and control. And you'll see
Mm-hmm.
more in the video on how I kind of go into those steps to it's the Six Sigma principle to find the root cause of something,
For
and
sure.
you're trying to figure out what exactly is causing you to have this fear. And once you find that root cause, it's easy to eliminate it because you fully understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
when you understand something, now you can get the solutions and put them together. So you can end up going chasing after whatever you want to chase after.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so I put that on the link. It's up there. Um, and so now you've also, now basically now that the link is up there, this is your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about why you started the YouTube. Why that platform? Instead of like Instagram, Facebook, that sort of thing. 'Cause my platform right now is only Facebook. Obviously, I'll expand later, but tell me about why YouTube.
Yeah, sure. And is your screen froze too? Just checking on that real quick.
No, my stuff is good on my end. So if let me just double check something here, make sure everything's good. Do you see me right now? Am I frozen?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. All right. And then now I'm gonna bring it back so it doesn't look frozen again. Yeah, we got
Yep.
that.
Yeah, we
Okay.
good.
All right. So yeah.
So the YouTube channel, I started the YouTube channel. I started a channel back in like 2012 or 13, somewhere around there, and or actually 2015, and it was really called the channel of random crap. It's really
Okay.
the S, but
Yeah, yeah.
the
Random. Yeah, I got you. I appreciate
uh,
that.
it was funny because I literally made a video about anything. It was like a vlog. I
Mm-hmm.
went to bowling with friends and I did this, and I was like, you know what? One of the videos I made was how to be a healthy fat person, and it was I was able to reach like over 200 something people and
Oh.
show them how they can enjoy the food that they like to eat and not feel some type of way after eating it,
Mm-hmm.
because the food was healthy, but it was still like a big burger and some fries or whatever it may be. And because I love food. And so, after I had closed that channel down, I ended up going to Breakout and Stay Out, which was the thing was arms breaking a chain, which kind of implemented into the mindset, the crab out the bucket logo,
Right.
still
Of
breaking
course.
out that mindset. And so the reason I wanted to make the YouTube channel was to reach more people. Now, kind of gearing towards like the protests and everything that's going on with the injustices and the racism stuff that's going on
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It I appreciate what everybody's doing, and I'm actually, I'm glad they're doing something out there. I'm glad that they're protesting out there. They're doing something, the peaceful ones,
Right.
not
Right.
the ones
Right.
destroying places for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think when you have enough people like me, enough people like yourself, enough people like everybody else who can leverage social media to reach more people, to educate and get them thinking a different way, to make more of an impact. I mean, think about it. Things spread so fast with social media that it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can literally, somebody shares this, the next person shares, and it just trickle downs, and now you got millions of people, and now you're going viral.
Yeah.
Within some people's done it within 24 hours. And so I wanted to make the YouTube channel because I wanted to reach out to those people who feel stuck, who
Yeah.
feel they can't move, who feel that, they don't have the right mindset to get out. They don't understand, personal finances. They don't understand these things in the household to
Mm-hmm.
move forward in their life. So that YouTube channel was the way that I can reach people. Now, of course, I do other platforms, but I solely, work on YouTube, and I'm also coming out with I'm also working on a course right now to kind of help people build a YouTube channel that's going to be so simple to the
Okay.
point where like a kid coming out the womb can start making a YouTube channel. So it's gonna be that simple. It's gonna be that simple
Yeah.
because I want people to be able to put out the word. Because I mean, if you think about it, a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people are searching for stuff. A lot of people
Yep.
are on Facebook, on videos, and put your face out there.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's just funny because when you said about the whole like kids being, babies, or as soon as they're out the womb, they're on YouTube. I mean, I know that there are parents who they do film that, and
Yep,
some of them
exactly,
so
exactly.
it's not even far. They do it before you're out of the womb. So some kids are already stars before they even come out.
They don't
But
like technically they ain't got to go to school, but I'm
eh,
sure they ain't got to go
yeah,
to school. They getting paid.
right, exactly. So tell me about like, so with YouTube you can monetize it, right? You can actually you get some money out of it. And I know some people who've been wanting to like open up their YouTube channels, me
Hmm.
being one of them. And you said you got that YouTube basics that will be pretty cool for whenever it comes out. So guys, I'm gonna also drop a link for his YouTube channel. I know that's essentially one for the video, but I'm gonna put it on for it's just basically to subscribe to his channel whenever he does drop the video for YouTube basics or anything else really in particular. What else you got on your YouTube channel?
So I talk about different things related to credit, related to finances. I also talk about different things in mindsets. Some
Mm-hmm.
issues that's going on. I tie some of the issues that's going on now to how people are either too emotional or too logical or something, and try
Yeah.
to get people to think, and get people to come back to self control. Get people to understand that don't let the social media manipulate you the wrong way. You want to use social media for good and not just for negativity.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So there it is. I popped the link in there for everyone. To just go ahead and follow it, and you guys can follow Ray Woods and Crab Out the Bucket. But yeah, so again, back to the question about like so you monetize your YouTube channel. A lot of people are going to want to open it up their things too and stuff like that. What is the one of the things that you would probably want to warn them about? I know people have worries, other people
Hmm.
have ideas. What is the one thing? What is a couple of things you think could be good for them to learn?
So I'll say three main things is watch out for people who are trying to market to you saying, let me show you how to grow your subscribers to 10,000 subscribers in 30 days or this many subscribers in 2 weeks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
There are very rare cases that that's happened. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually made a video on that, and it's called it's like you'll see it on my channel, Dad, How Do I? That guy ended up hitting millions of subscribers in a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very rare case, so you don't want to try to compare yourself to that. Another
Okay.
thing is understand when you go make a YouTube channel, don't go make a YouTube channel because you can monetize it. That's
Oh,
not
that's good.
the purpose of YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes, you can eventually make money from it, but you gotta have a ton of views. 1,000 subscribers is the minimum you gotta have, and you gotta have a ton of views before you start actually monetizing. My wife has her channel, and she actually gets paid from her channel. She has like 10,000 subscribers, over
Woo.
millions of views. Like I learned from her. So when she making stuff, she does makeup in her language, in her Kyrgyz language. She's Asian, and
Yep.
I was so proud of her when she did with that YouTube channel, and she's growing it, and even her friends are making their own collectively as well. So the second thing to that is don't go in it to monetize it. The last thing I would say is do you. Don't try to
Mm-hmm.
be like somebody else. See, the problem with content today and YouTube channels, courses, everything, all of that, everybody just takes something else and they recycle it. And you fail, and what you're doing is you're eliminating the uniqueness from every individual person, because somebody's going to like the way that Carlos talks on his content. Somebody's going to like the way that I talk on my content. And that tells you that those people enjoy your uniqueness. So be
Mm-hmm.
unique and you when it comes to making your content. Don't try to go out there and be fake and do all this other stuff. I'm goofy. I'm extremely goofy. So some videos I have is goofy. Some I'm serious because I want to get the point across to you. But be
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
That's so we got here. Don't compare to yourself and other different YouTubers. It's because that's just gonna bring you down.
Mm-hmm.
Monetizing is not necessarily the purpose. You can get paid for it, but it shouldn't be the purpose. It shouldn't be your main drive. It should just be about you building your own brand, I guess, if anything. And
Yeah,
that brand is be your personality, your own personality. Because a lot of people
exactly.
recycle their things, like I said, but the idea is that you are still yourself, and that people like the personality that you have. So you don't want to be a copy of someone else. You want to be who you are as a person
Exactly.
on YouTube. I like this, man. This is some good stuff. Definitely good stuff, man. There's a lot of, again, there's a lot that we could have touched up on more. I don't know if you. I'm gonna give you this opportunity for yourself. I'm gonna pop you in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can go ahead and plug in whatever you want to plug in. You can say whatever you want, man. This is your little bit of, like, this is your 30 seconds of shine. All right. So let her rip, dude.
All right, so check this out, guys. That I definitely appreciate you guys watching, tune into the podcast. My channel is Crab Out the Bucket, where I teach others from my past mistakes and educate those through personal finance and mindset. And I just want people to take some. If you don't remember anything I've said throughout the whole video, I just want you to take this with you. Follow your intuition and make sure that you don't let other people bring you down. Because, like I said, from the teacher told me, they're not going to be paying your bills in 10 years. So you want to be able to, uh, dig in your heart and see what it is that you really want. What is it that you want? If you want to make a YouTube channel, make it authentic. Make it to where, I enjoy making videos because I like to teach and I like to educate. I'm a people person. I like to put my face out there and I want people to know that I'm here to help. And that's the purpose of that. That's the purpose of YouTube. Let the social media be positive for you and keep pushing in what you're trying to do, and don't quit. There's so many people that quit, and it's not about switching things, because I've even from my mistakes, I've switched different side hustles or whatever you want to call it. But there's one thing that I didn't do. I didn't stop trying to figure it out. And once I figured it out, I kept moving with it. And I know one of the main things is YouTube for me and doing these podcasts. And once you find out what that one thing is, then you keep going with it and just watch it grow.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Ray. Hey, again, thanks so much for popping in on this the podcast and giving me a little bit of your time. It's definitely important for me to see some people like I said, I don't know you as well, but I really appreciate the respect you gave towards the podcast platform, my guy, and I really also appreciate the type of stuff that you talked about. We talked about is definitely really inspiring to find a lot of the things that you've done. And keep trucking along, man. You got a fan over here, so you're definitely keeping tabs on you.
So I will call it again. I appreciate it, man. I'm very grateful that you brought me on the podcast. You reached out to me on the Art of Noise podcast. I
Hey,
will
hey.
definitely reconnecting with you, and soon, man. I want to bring you on to my podcast so we can hear your side of things.
Hey, that'll be fun. That'll definitely be fun. I'll definitely have some stories to tell. So, guys, that's it. That's it for the podcast. Again, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And again, we'll be back again maybe in 2 weeks. Just because next week I got some things to do. But other than that, it's definitely a nice opportunity to have you guys around. And I'll just leave this. I'll leave a couple things on there for you guys. Also, I do have this link that I wanted to share with you guys. I found this Black Lives Matter info doc. It's pretty cool. It's got a lot of places where you can learn what protesting is you can do, and keeping it peaceful. You could do of other little things like where you can sign some petitions if you need to for the different people and families that died and that were affected by the injustices and things like that. So it'll be up there for you guys. And then other than that, that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and have a happy 4th of July. Stay safe, stay warm, bring your sunblock, whatever it is you guys got to do. Talk to you soon.